Hey YouTube, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX here with your Throwdown Thursday. If you guys have been waiting for it, not sure. I couldn't think of anything else to do for the format since it's kind of set in stone. There's really no big events going on. I mean, we hit kind of a dead area until Worlds. So I figured I'd find some things to pick and choose from. So I may not have one for you every week, or I may use another card game in place of Throwdown Thursdays like Vanguard or something, because there's a lot to talk about with Vanguard. So, especially if I start game theory segments and things like that. Anyway, this is going to be based around Hidden Arsenal 6 Omega XCs because it just debuted like, when was it? 2 days ago. So I figured I'd talk about it, some things to look out for, and even potential new archetypes, whatever you want to call them. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into the video. The first thing I want to say about this is that it will help you follow up your Gem Knights if you guys are looking to make this. I think everyone knew that, so I'm not really going to focus on Gishki or, you know, Gem Knights, because people generally, I think, have swarmed into those two archetypes more than the others for the set. What I am going to talk about are probably some of the levels, and I'm going to talk about the Gustos or Die Gustos, whatever you want to call them, more so, and cards to look out for. Okay, the first I want to talk about is a card I'm actually after and is very, 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 very good. Okay. Sadly, the picture is not. Hopefully, they get the secret rare up there first. But it is Daigusto Phoenix, who is in the English meta right now. This single-handedly has made Frog Monarchs just that much better. If you can drop and I've done this, if you can drop a Raza in the same turn that you can summon Daigusto Phoenix, it gets pretty nutty. All you need is like a heavy storm or a way to get rid of their back rows if they have any, and deal with that. Raza to return whatever threatening monster they have out, and then get Daigusto Phoenix to the field. And in Frog Monarchs, that's actually easier than it sounds, because they're a little bit more of an aggressive type and a little bit stronger. He has a very simple effect. You can detach one Xyz material from it to target one face-up one monster you control. It can attack twice during each battle phase. So, I don't know why it says each battle phase, but it does. I don't think there are any cards to give you more battle phases yet. But it's the way it's worded. So this guy is something to look out for. This Engachi will help Frog Monarchs out significantly if you build them right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the other videos on my channel, and there's Frog Monarchs there. I think I called them Sea Lance or Frog Monarchs or something like that in the description, and I go over some of the specifics, especially with Daigusto Phoenix and how good it is. Okay, to move on, I'm going over first, I think, the two cards that are most sought after from this set, and then talk a little bit about a few other cards that you may want to consider. This guy, of course, they have the secret rare for him, is going to revolutionize the game, especially for gadgets. It sees a lot of sides in Japan, and is probably the card you go after in Hidden Arsenal 6. It's very good. It's a Xyz monster version of Catastor, so long as you can equip attributes. And if there's a deck that's a lot more narrow with one or two attributes in the deck, this guy becomes significantly more powerful. So if you haven't looked him up, and if you're watching this, I'm sure you've looked him up, he's very strong. Check him out on this Wikia. It's Violin. I guess it's supposed to be Die Sigma, so check him out. And there's not much else I can say about him. He's the card that most people will be after. Forgive me for the next bit. I have to find the card I want to talk about. And if this isn't it, I need to look. I know it's a Synchro Monster for the Gustos Di Gustos. Oh, I think this is it. Yes. Alright. I noticed too, this guy has not been getting much attention as far as I know. But he is very bonkers. And it's another card to look at considering rotations. Okay, there's an ad. I apologize. I'll mute the computer to make it easier. I'm sorry, I forgot that Wikia has ads on it. I don't know if you heard that or not, but apologies in advance. Okay, this is Di Gustos Freeze. This card is the nuts. He is insane for what he does, and I would not be unhappy, double negatives folks, meaning I would be happy if I got this guy. Because if they bring emergency teleport back to 3, fingers crossed, this deck will take off. And it would be very fun to see moving. I'm going to read them for you, even if you can read them, just for those who are lazy and don't want to read. Okay, it takes 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner Gusto monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 Gusto card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. So he gets an instant upside effect for himself. Means, I'm pretty sure, whenever he's synchroed, you just grab what you want from the synchro materials. Pretty good. Okay, on top of that, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving face-up Gusto monsters you control. Okay, it means the only thing that can get by you and damage you are piercing monsters at that point. Specifically, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. I think we're honestly looking at something very close to another Shien at this point for this card, aside from it being level 6. And a way for Gustos to synchro summon. It just takes any tuner monster, so you definitely can look for a Psychic Gusto hybrid deck and see how well it does. You need an elimination card for this guy. You need a Dark Hole. You need a Kai'Sa Shadow Monarch. You need something to stop it. You need a Bottomless Trap Hole or Warning or Judgment. You need something that can deal with it. If you don't, this card's going to wreck your day. And I'm just going to say that now. He's really good and should be looked at and looked into more often for those who have not looked at in Arsenal 6. Now to move on. Another card that this deck gets, even though it's much weaker, is still significant. This guy says that whenever it's synchroed, all Gusto monsters currently on the field gain 600 attack. It's a level 4, and I'm pretty convinced that Gustos have a way to easily make this, or it wouldn't be in the set. I haven't looked into it personally, but after you synchro summon it, and you use it and give your boost and swing for your attacks, in your main phase 2, you can use him as an overlay material, so he won't be junk. And you probably set your graveyard up, maybe Pot of Average Play comes out, something along those lines. So don't underestimate him too. He's actually pretty good if the focus is right. So something else too to consider, especially if teleport goes to 3. Okay, now we'll move on a little bit to a few cards I think are worth a look at. And then I'll just, from there, end the Throwdown Thursdays. First I have to find the guy I'm trying to find. Apologies, I thought it'd be easier. It's, I think, Volcanic Cannon, or Lava Cannon. So it shouldn't be too difficult to find, but I guess I'll use a search here. There we go. I just missed it. Apologies. I'm a little bit disoriented today, a little bit tired, especially with the huge storm that's in the area. Okay, anyway, Canon says simply, when this card is normal summoned or flip summoned, you can target one of your banished lava monsters and special summon that target. I don't know if lava macro or lava fissure or whatever you want to call it will be made, but it is a consideration. I could see him working as tech for himself. I mean, very limited tech, and he would have to go into the specific deck that would work with him. But he's especially good whenever you have a level deck that can also abuse things like Rekindling and the levels themselves. So I hope to see this card come to the Tier 1 bracket because he's really cool and he's really interesting. I think he's actually an underestimated card, and I think he might be a missing piece to level decks functioning. So hopefully we can see some innovation and people trying them out at locals and see how they do. I believe I have one final card to talk about on this list, and then I'll end the segment. Oh yes, okay. It's because it's interesting, more so than anything else, so if you want to stop the video here, you can. But Violin Omega is kind of cool. He's different, and he's very similar to Red Nova Dragon. So I wanted to go over him. He's a level 10, and he needs 2 tuners and 1 non-tuner violin monster. Okay. The first is because of his effect. I think it's kind of nuts. When this card is synchro summoned, destroy all face-up monsters that were normal summoned or set. That just means period during this game. So if they have a normal summon monsters that's been sitting there for a while, he blows them up. Kind of interesting. Again, I'm not saying that violins are tier 1 by any means. I tried the deck out. It's not consistent, but he's really interesting. So I had to share it about it. Once per turn, you can target 1 violin monster in your graveyard. Okay? Then, equip it. During either player's turn, when an effect monster's effect activates, you can send 1 equip monster to this card to the graveyard, negate that activation, and destroy it. Okay. That's the cool part behind him. He blows up all normal summon monsters and has some inherent protection against effect monsters. He's actually a very powerful card, but I think he might be incredibly difficult to summon. Given that he's also level 10, you need like a level 6 Violin monster to basically pull him out. And I think that basically equates to having your level 6 Violin monster that's synchro summoned out and then synchroing into this guy. If you guys have successfully used this, let me know, and I'd love to see a deck list. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this segment of Throwdown Thursdays of something to look at. If you'd like to see any more of these set reviews, any more of these set talks, let me know. And I hope that brought some stuff to your attention that perhaps it didn't before. And ZeroMagnumX out. Peace, YouTube, and have a good night.